September was so good. I ended up having 4 5-star reads, which is absolutely insane, and I read 16 books. You might have seen one of my last videos where I was trying to read 11 books in 1 week, and we did that. So that's why there's so many books. I usually do not read that much. But let's go over all the books I read, and let me just tell you a little bit about them, what I rated them, the tropes, all that fun stuff. We had a very good variety last month. So I'll just start off with the books that I own. There's not going to be any particular order for this, but we'll start off with Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. I literally read this book in like 24 hours. I loved it. This book is about a girl who ends up getting left a house along with her other sisters from their mother, who they've all been estranged from for a long time because when they were kids, they were traumatized by her. She was convinced there was like a demonic presence living in this house, and she kind of went crazy in this house. So they hadn't had contact with her in a very long time. The mother had written a book about her life and experience in this house, and it actually was very popular and a lot of people read it, but all of the sisters had agreed that they were never going to read the book. But when she gets left the house, she decides she's going to flip it because she's a social media influencer and she wants to use it to make content. While she's flipping the house and getting it ready, she finds a copy of her mother's book with annotations just for her from her mother. This book was absolutely phenomenal. I gave this book 5 stars. It really gives you like the haunted house feeling. It's perfect for October, so if you're looking for a good like spooky October read, this is the one to read because I was actually genuinely scared at times. Like I could see this like a movie in my head. It was perfect. So we started on a high note. Let's go into a bit of a low note. We have Throttled by Lauren Asher. This is a Formula One romance about a girl who, once again, is a social media influencer or wants to. She wants to be like a traveling influencer. And she ends up going on a Formula One circuit with her brother who is in the circuit. While she's doing this, she ends up meeting Noah, who is also in the circuit. He's like one of the best. But he's a huge playboy and he doesn't really get serious with girls. He sleeps around a lot. This was very much the typical, like, he's a playboy, she's a good girl, and he changes for her. That's like really just the consensus of this. There was a couple underlying themes for sure, but overall, like, I really didn't enjoy this book at all. I gave this book 2 stars. I just don't really believe in that trope of like he's a playboy and he changes for her, and the way that he changed, like, I just felt like it was very forced, very lazy, just like not original at all. I'm not somebody who feels like books have to be realistic, but I also am somebody who feels like in a romance book there has to be an element of realism, and this just felt like lazy writing and it was just pretty boring to me. I do think I'm going to continue the series because I have the next 2 books on Libby, so I will continue because I've heard book 3 and 4 are very good. So if they're very good, then it might be worth it to get through books 1 and 2. Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This is a thriller book about a girl who gets attacked on Halloween night, and even though she is not murdered at that time, she does end up finding out that she only has about a week to live from this incident. She uses this week to solve her own murder, which this was such an original concept, and it was so fast-paced, so fun, and even though, like, you know how this book is supposed to end, like, she knows that she's going to die. I still was sobbing in this book. Like, I sobbed towards the end of the book. It was so good. I gave this book 5 stars. Definitely like one of my favorite thrillers I've ever read. Once again, gives really good Halloween vibes because she was attacked on Halloween night, so it's super cool. I did actually read part of this book like while I was home alone by myself, and it did scare me. There is somebody hammering things and I don't know if you can hear it, and I'm sorry if you can. Definitely pick this one up if you haven't yet. Game Point by Meg Jones. I unfortunately didn't love this one. This one got sent to me by a publisher, so I wanted to make it a priority. I did tandem read the audio with the physical. At first I was just reading the audiobook, and the audiobook on its own I didn't really enjoy at all. I didn't really like the characters and the way that they were narrated. The overall concept of the book is just super simple. We have a tennis player who is just not doing very well, and she is unable to win. Like, she can never win, so she starts to give up hope. She ends up meeting another tennis player at the bar, another professional, and they start talking. He makes it really clear that he's not looking for any kinds of relationships because he just got divorced, but they decide to be friends, and when she tries to give up tennis, he decides that he's gonna coach her and they're gonna get her back into things. This book was a strangers to friends to lovers, and I do not love friends to lovers unless it is like long-term friends to lovers. Like, they were best friends as kids, whatever, those kind of things. I enjoyed those, but I do not like when adults become friends and then become lovers because it doesn't feel real, the reason that they're not together. Like, you can't tell me that 30-year-olds, I think they were around 30, are just so emotionally unavailable that they can admit they like each other but won't be together for like stupid reasons. I don't buy it. It's different, I think, when there's like kids involved or they have like certain commitments that make it so relationships make things complicated, but these people literally had no reason to not be together, which kind of made me annoyed. I gave this book 3 stars. It's not that I hated it, I just didn't love it. I think if you're somebody who loves tennis and like sports romances and friends to lovers, you'd probably like it. And then we have Wildcard by Elsie Silver. I have loved all the Rose Hill books, and this was going to be a 5-star, and part of me feels like it should have been. But there was a couple of things that threw me off of this book. This book is an ex-boyfriend's dad situation. I actually typically like that trope depending on how it's done. Our 2 main characters meet in an airport during a snowstorm and they have like a really fun night and they exchange phone numbers, but that never goes anywhere. But our main character Bash, he has like never really forgotten about her. But Bash also has a bit of a complicated situation because he just found out that he has a son who's in his 20s that he didn't know existed. A couple of months after that night in the airport, they once again end up meeting, but now she is his estranged son's girlfriend. To put it loosely, not really like a girlfriend, more of like a fun buddy, if you know what I mean. She does end up in Rose Hill, which if you've read the other books in the series, you already know that. It is like a forced proximity type of situation. And I loved the book. Like, I was thoroughly entertained. I loved the themes. I loved the tropes. I had such a fun time reading this. Minor spoilers in terms of why I didn't like it. There was one scene where our main male character punches a wall, which I felt like was unnecessary and doesn't fit his character in the rest of the book at all. Because he does seem like somebody who can really hold his temper and is very gentle. So for him to like punch a wall just seemed unnecessary, and I don't really love that. I don't love violence in my main male characters for the most part, especially in like a contemporary small town romance. I also didn't love that like technically they actually like were together in a way. Like, usually when I read ex-boyfriend dad books, like the ex-boyfriend's like, it's an ex-boyfriend. Like they were dating and now they're not together and it's been over for a while. Like, this is like not that. But it was still a 4.5-star read for me. I still loved it. I still think it's probably one of my favorite in the series, even though I didn't give it 5 stars. The star rating is like a technicality because I've given the other ones 5 stars, some of them. Bro is doing construction beside my house, I think. And I feel like I liked this one more than some of the others. I also read the first 2 books in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I gave both of these books 4 stars. I absolutely love them. If you haven't read Dungeon Crawler Carl, basically the world is ending and aliens have decided that they are going to make a 18-level game that a human can go do instead of staying on Earth where they will definitely die, in order for them to like survive and have a prize and all of this fun stuff. That is like the vaguest way I could put it. It is so much more than that. There's definitely like politics in here and it's getting more political the farther I get into the series. It's very much video game forward. Like, they get achievements, they have like health bars, they have levels they need to build. Like, it is a full thing. And there's also like talk shows that they go on between levels, and it's giving like Hunger Games meets Maze Runner meets Ready Player One. Fantastic. Loving this so far. I'm definitely going to continue the series because it is so good, and I've heard the audiobooks are really good, so I'm thinking I might pick those up because I love me a good tandem read moment. So I also read You'll Never Know by Caleb Stevens, and this was another one of my 5-star reads. This book is about a wife and husband who go on a hike, and when they're about to leave for the hike, a van pulls up and basically just kidnaps her, and they are blackmailing our main male character into doing a bunch of things and tasks in order to keep her alive and safe. The twists in this book are unmatched, and Caleb Stevens just knows how to write a thriller. Like, he knows how to put pieces throughout the book that you don't think are important, but then later you really realize that like it was all there, and you could see that it was all there. In his writing, I've read all of the books that he's published, and I can say that his writing has come so far. His writing was always good. I always loved it, but you can just tell that he has such a passion for his craft, and he has such a passion for continuing to progress in what he does. And this book was phenomenal. It comes out, I believe, November 18th, and it is amazing. I highly recommend it. And then another Caleb Stevens book that I read was What Waits Below. This one is coming out October 15th, and this was also a 5-star read. This book's about a tattoo artist that is also struggling with addiction, and one night she ends up getting kidnapped by her father, who has broken out of prison. She has not talked to him in a very long time, but she has a lot of memories from her childhood of him basically stating that there were these things that were going to be coming out of the ground to kill them, and had like a safety shelter that he wanted to bring them to, and he was just like crazy. A lot went down before he went to prison. But now, seemingly, he has escaped, and now he has kidnapped her. Once again, this was a very fast-paced book. When I first went into this, I thought that it was going to be like literally them in a van the entire time, and I was worried about that. I don't always love books that have like one setting for the entire book. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in this, that is not what it is. I think she literally spends like, I don't even know how much, not a lot. It's not a lot of time on like the road trip portion of it, which I was really glad about. So many things get uncovered. You're constantly trying to figure out what's real and what's not. It makes you feel crazy. I absolutely loved this. Once again, highly recommend. And lastly, I just read a couple of novellas. I read The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman. I did not like this one. I thought this one was kind of pointless. I'm not going to get into what it's about because it's like a 60-page novella. If you really want to read it, like you can. It's not going to take very long. It wasn't my cup of tea. It was really boring. Like I love Frederick Bachman, but this one was not it. And lastly, I read all 6 of the Scared Sexy novellas, which I'm also not going to go into all of these, but this is 6 different romance authors who all made a novella for Halloween. So they're all like based around a different kind of monster. All have like a different kind of theme. And they definitely get more rowdy and like crazy the farther you get in. Like if you read them in the order that I read them in, which was Ali Hazelwood, Christina Lauren, JT Geisinger, Ruby Dixon, Katie Robert, and then Kimberly Lemmings. That would be the progression of like least weird spice to like it's out there, tentacles everywhere type of situation. So do with that information what you will. But overall, September was a fantastic month, but I am ready for spooky season. I've already been reading a lot of like horror books and I am loving it so far. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one.